Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, Hestia Medical Spa, and Comfort Keepers in Home Care. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Gene Dorio.
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, our two guests this morning are Asmina Kanji and Johan Dulok from Renew Med Therapy Center.
Hello.
How
Hello
are
there.
you? It's nice
Good
to have
morning.
you
Welcome
again.
back.
Good morning.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, and tell us what you can offer our senior population.
Well, basically, what we do is we are a comprehensive outpatient rehabilitation facility. We focus on pulmonary rehab, physical therapy, and occupational therapy. And really, what we're here to talk about is our pulmonary rehabilitation program. So, for your elderly population, your patients with COPD, any chronic breathing conditions, post-COVID dyspnea, which is a very big one that we're seeing right now. Basically, any conditions of the respiratory system, we can help mitigate bad circumstances and improve quality of life.
What is dyspnea?
Just an inability to breathe correctly, a discomfort in your breathing.
Oh, you learn something new every day,
It's
don't
like
you?
shortness of breath.
Shortness of breath, exactly.
How
yeah.
interesting. Dyspnea. Never heard that
But-
word before.
I feel smart now, so that's good. That's good.
He sounds like a doctor,
Yeah.
like a pulmonary doctor.
Sounds like you know what you're talking
Yeah, that's
about.
the important thing is I just got to sound like it.
Important part of this conversation because our listeners have to know how important, how troublesome sometimes shortness of breath can be. And they end up in a hospital setting. And the majority, high majority of our seniors who are listening now have respiratory problems they end up facing and have to recover from. Pulmonary rehab is one of those arenas that we don't think about or talk about much, and it needs to come to the surface. I know that's what you guys are doing at your facility. You're helping those who especially have had some kind of pulmonary problem, whether they be admitted to the hospital or as outpatients at home. They need some kind of direction as to how they're going to get better. And really, I find it almost fascinating that no one has done this, but you guys are doing it, and here it is in Santa Rita, where you're providing this service for our patients.
Yeah, it's nationwide, it's a greatly underutilized service. And right now I'm finding a big benefit that we often try to tell our doctors in our hospitals is our ability to keep patients out of the emergency room. And usually that's a benefit, obviously, for the patient because nobody wants to be in the emergency room, for the hospitals because they get penalized for this thing. But now, especially, I feel like you just don't want to be in a hospital. Sitting around with everybody breathing on you and the chaos that's going on today. I mean, I think it's ideal on many fronts to not find yourself in an emergency room.
And Dr. Dorio, the other benefit of pulmonary rehab is because it's comprehensive. The therapists, there are different kinds of therapists who will work for their one mission is to improve the quality of life, but patients are working with respiratory therapists so that they're empowered how to manage their disease. They don't need to call 911 every time they can't breathe. So they learn a lot of how to coordinate their breathing through the respiratory therapists, and they work on their endurance. Then you have the physical therapist who then works with things like upper and lower body strengthening, which then has a fallout benefit of not falling, their muscles get stronger. And they also work with occupational therapists. And all of these therapists are then supervised by a medical director. So there is a doctor on staff in our locations. So there is a lot of other fallout extra benefits for pulmonary rehabilitation. And sadly, 62% of the United States population don't know about pulmonary rehab.
And let me emphasize that because when you don't understand what you need to do once you are in a crisis, in or out of the hospital, you're going to fail in that process. And without the proper guidance, it's going to be tough to get back to the top of the hill. And so I think the whole idea of not having provided therapy, this kind of therapy, rehabilitation therapy in the past, has hurt our patients. They've gotten readmitted to the hospital. They have gone to the edge of death. And I don't like to use a negative term in my discussions, but the fact is, if we don't get people to be alarmed about a loss or not having a treatment plan, then they're going to suffer in the long run. So what you guys are doing is incredibly important, and having that guidance for our patients has made a huge difference in terms of keeping people out of the hospital. And if they do go to the hospital, they get and stay out of the hospital. These are all important factors that enhance our seniors' lives in Santa Clarita.
Well, now, what is occupational therapy?
So, occupational therapy is the ability to work on your activities of daily living. So, for example, patients who have pulmonary disease not only can't breathe, not only can't necessarily just walk, but they can't perform their activities of daily living in their upper extremities. So, for example, a patient who's suffering from breathing is not able to reach their upper shelf in the kitchen to bring the tin of soup down. They can't do their laundry, to bending down to do their laundry. They can't, when they go to the groceries, it's hard for them to come out of the grocery store and pick up their groceries and put them in the car. So a lot of it has to do with improving the activities of daily living for the upper body. So the focus is much more waist up. And then the physical therapist typically will work on everything waist down, which is not only your gait and your balance and your lower back, your ankle, your knee, anything like that. So that's really how we divide up our occupational therapy versus our physical therapy.
How interesting. I've never known what occupational therapy is. Now I do. Wow,
Now
you
you
learn
do.
something new every day, don't you?
Dyspnea and
Wow.
occupational therapy.
Yes, two different things. Good gracious alive. Well, now, do you have more clients that need occupational therapy than need physical, or?
Well, it's a healthy mix, because remember, it's a comprehensive program. So really, ideally, a patient going through the program will see both a physical therapist and an occupational therapist at differing times throughout the treatment. The constant will be the respiratory therapist as they're in the pulmonary program.
Right.
But at some point, there will be a handoff from the PT to the OT, so the physical therapist to the occupational therapist. And both of these therapists are going to take what you do, your ADLs, activities of daily living, and figure out a way to strengthen you through those movements.
Your ADLs?
Activities of daily living.
Oh.
So like as Mina was telling you,
ADLs.
grabbing a can of soup, taking a high step into a shower tub, things like this,
Right.
that we kind of take for granted. But a lot of the times when you've had an acute exacerbation, something that's ended you up in the hospital, you're in a weakened state, a lot of these things have to be relearned. So that's where we specialize.
How interesting. I know when my husband asked me several years ago what I wanted for my birthday, I said, I want a walk-in tub.
Ah,
And a walk-in tub? Why? I said, well, you can just step over the tiny step, close the door, you can sit down.
it's much safer. Absolutely.
Much safer. And it was a lifesaver for my husband when he was in his stages of not being able to walk properly and sit down and stand up. And I would just have the caregiver just take him in the shower. He put his foot over, sat
Oh, it's a
down,
lot easier. Absolutely.
and there's a shower thing there and a regular, faucet there. It's incredible, and I love it. I just love it.
It's much safer.
Plus, I couldn't. If he were to take a shower, I would have to get in the shower with him, which is very confining. You really can't do a proper shower with two people in there. You know, so that walk-in tub was an absolute lifesaver for him.
Excellent.
It really was, and he loved it. He really did.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't particularly care for the caregiver to come in there with him and help him,
I can imagine that's less than ideal.
but he loved it because he was able to relax and not worry about falling.
And falling is a huge risk.
Oh, yes, it
So-
is a huge risk because when I decided to get a caregiver to come at the house to help me out, I had taken him to the bathroom, and as he was getting up, he fell into me, and we both went on the floor.
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, that's it. That's it.
Yep.
Somebody is coming in to help me out." And fortunately, I had purchased long-term care insurance.
Hey,
Much
Very
to,
important.
much to Russ's disagreement, he said, "Absolutely not." Well, I got it anyway, and
for you.
I didn't tell him, but he said to me afterwards. He said, "I'm so glad you got it."
so
Be-
glad you didn't listen to me.
No, he didn't say that, but it paid for 2/3 of what it cost to have
healthcare's not cheap.
24/7 care.
And because it's not cheap, that's why it's so much of a boon to people to get into preventative care.
Yes.
Things like this type of therapy that we're talking about, because again, we mitigate things like fall risks. A lot of the times, falls come in conjunction with breathing problems.
Oh, yes.
So you're focused on catching your breath, and oh, whoops, you're gonna go down. So, again, there's a lot of
It
benefits
all
to.
works in together.
Absolutely.
It really does.
And by the way, even if a person is not hospitalized, they're diagnosed with breathing difficulties, then the idea would be still to come in for therapy.
Yeah, you don't have to wait
because
till you're in the hospital.
Don't wait. We would make this. It's a progressive disease. People with lung disease, they will get worse, whether they like it or not. It's progressive. And while we're living longer and longer, why wait to the day you go to the hospital and have a crisis? Why not start therapy now?
Right.
So that 3 or 4 years from now, you're empowered, you know what to do, and you don't then go to the hospital. So it's
You can do it.
preventative.
You know
can
what
do
to
it.
do, and you can do
Exactly.
it. That's the
Exactly.
key. It
That-
Well,
really
it's
is.
preventative.
Yes.
Exactly.
In the long run, it's preventative, and there are just certain lung type of problems like COPD, emphysema, pulmonary fibrosis that we know it's in the lungs. Even those who have had COVID recently could have an impact on the lungs. And recognition of that is if you're on home oxygen, you got a lung problem,
Yeah.
probably.
That's a
Exactly.
pretty
there are
good
other things
indicator.
like-
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but there are things that like kidney disease and heart disease can also create breathing problems, and you have to manage those too. But it's a breathing problem that might require oxygen. And just like you said earlier, falling is a big hazard when you're trying to occupy your mind is occupied on one thing, just trying to breathe, and then you take a step and
Oh,
you fall.
You're
you fall
dizzy,
over.
a
So
number of things, yeah.
Definitely.
so how do our listeners though go about their doctor is not aware of pulmonary evaluation or rehab? How do those patients say, "Hey, doc, I'd like to get some rehab"? I mean, do they just
Well, we could
turn
do a
to
couple
their
of different
primary-
things.
Please, yes.
Yeah, we could do a couple of different things. The first thing they could do is obviously the easiest thing is to talk to their doctor, like you're saying, and let them know that they heard about this on the radio. They'd like to check it out. Our phone number is 661-425-7622. And our website is renewmedscv.com. So they can refer those to their doctors, or what they can do is they can call us directly. We can actually bring them in, do a free evaluation, and if they qualify for the program, we will contact their doctor for them and get them referred and get them started. So those are a couple of different ways that they can do it. One's a little more proactive, but both will work just fine.
And Dr. Dorio, the best part about this is they don't have to, most of the time, they do not have to pay out of their pocket because insurance, whether it's Medicare, whether it's Blue Shield, a lot of the insurance companies, most of them cover this therapy. So they don't have to worry about insurance or how will they make the payment. It is paid for.
Yes, most insurance companies will cover it.
And the reason why is because, once again, using that term preventative, it keeps people out of the hospital that would cost the insurance companies way too much money. So they want people to get pulmonary rehab, but it's just it's one of these secrets that are in medicine right now that people are not learning about and taking advantage of to help protect themselves or their loved ones.
Yeah, it seems like our healthcare system is fighting a war on many fronts right now.
Well, it's
No
interesting.
kidding.
It's interesting. I just changed from a PPO to an HMO,
Okay.
and I'm going to change back to the PPO.
I've heard a lot of that, yeah.
I was just astounded because I went to the doctor the other day for skin problems, and I asked them. I said, "Do you accept HMO?" And they said no.
Yeah, that'll happen.
They said no,
Yeah.
and I thought, okay, I'd rather pay for my insurance and get the doctors I want.
Sure, sure.
And with an
Right.
HMO, you cannot do that.
No, you're
No, it's much harder.
regulated by the network, absolutely.
Oh, you've got to play it by their rules. Well, I want to play by my rules.
I'm with you.
You know, I mean, I have an oncologist that I go to. Well, they don't cover it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the dermatologist, they don't cover it. And I'm thinking, what did I do just to keep from paying money for my health care?
Absolutely.
No way.
Absolutely,
Because
yeah.
it's $0 with an HMO.
Sure.
Except
That's right.
you pay a copay when you go in to see a
Right.
doctor, whatever that is.
But then you can't use your own doctors, you can't use your therapy centers, you can't necessarily use the prescription drug plans. And no matter how much they advertise, when reality strikes, then you really know what they'll cover and what they won't cover.
Well, that's what I found out
Yeah.
yesterday.
Now, fortunately for us, Barbara, we do have some HMO contracts. So if they're contracted, then they could still come to us. And the best way is to find out when they contact us. We can always call the doctors and say, hey, could you submit an authorization? But of course, Medicare, PPOs, obviously are all
And
covered.
and what we do is, again, we're mostly a low complexity operation, so the HMOs are generally fine for the patients that are coming to us in terms of paying.
Interesting.
You know, we're not talking about a $10,000-$20,000 procedure like some kind of. It's not that type of thing. I think they're actually, especially in the network groups, they're like the doctor earlier said, they're very interested in getting these patients into a preventative style program.
Yeah, well, I went to a doctor the other day. They wouldn't accept the HMO until they had to get a referral from my existing
Sure,
doctor.
sure,
And
yeah.
I'm
Right.
thinking, what?
Yeah.
That is a
That-
challenge.
that is-
I
that
mean,
does work
that's
that way.
ridiculous. So I said, no, I'm canceling the HMO and I'm going back to the PPO. I don't care if I have to pay.
Yeah, you'll get a little
I've
more ease of
paid-
access. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been paying for years, and why I even considered an HMO, I don't know. I must have been drunk or something.
Well, at least you had fun making the decision.
Now that's something I will not do is get drunk. I did it once when I was 17 years old, and I will never ever do it again.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Me too.
Oh, it was horrible, horrible experience, and I never want to experience that again. Oh my goodness,
I'm going to go ahead and
never.
plead the fifth over here.
You mean you didn't have a horrible experience? The aftermath is what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes.
It was fun while, you know. Oh yeah, because I was at my own home and my parents were gone for the weekend, and I had all my friends over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we had a party. Oh, oh my goodness, never again, ever. And I haven't done it since, and I never intend to.
Oh, my.
No, I had my one glass of wine for dinner, and that's it. No more.
Good for you.
It's not worth it.
You're saving your liver.
Yes, I am. Oh. Well, we have now. Where are you located? We have your phone number.
We are
and
at
your- yes,
24355 Lyons Avenue, Suite 216.
Suite 216.
That's us.
Wonderful. You know, I'm so glad you came back again.
We're happy to be here.
Whoa, we covered a
Thank
lot
you.
in a short period of time,
Absolutely.
didn't we?
Yeah.
We sure did.
Wow, goodness gracious. Well, thank you so much, Asmina and Johan.
Thank you so
and
much.
We'll see you
Thank
another
you.
time soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Doctor.
Bye-bye. Yes, we
Appreciate
have
it.
to take a break now. I'm with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS.
Lots of people can build websites, but there's one Santa Clarita company that specializes in designing websites for your business. Small Dog Creative. The Small Dog Creative team is made up of local designers who are hands-on. Their talented team of experts build premium websites and redefine branding. Small Dog Creative doesn't just build websites. They'll upgrade your business's online presence and turn your business into a powerful online brand. Small Dog Creative, Santa Clarita's most innovative web and design company. SmallDogCreative.com.
We salute our veterans who sacrifice for our freedom. Every week, we share an inspirational story of a local veteran on our Hometown Heroes page at hometownstation.com. Thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. We're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Visit hometownstation.com, sponsored by Eternal Valley.
Aloha, friends! Go check out Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brew coffee. What makes their coffee special is how their organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. They're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha.
And now for your convenience, a second Honu location at 23502 Lyons Avenue between Peachland and Apple.
If you're in need of physical therapy, check out Focus Physical Therapy. Owner and therapist Adam Laraway has the latest in cutting-edge technology, introducing the Newbie, the ultimate in neuromuscular re-education. The Newbie can help you heal up to 70% faster and was FDA cleared in September 2017. The Newbie uses pulse direct current, which mimics the same neurological signals the brain uses and allows the therapist to identify those signals with 100% accuracy. Newbie can even help improve your sleep while tackling issues with neck, knee, and shoulder pain, sciatica, and arthritis. It can accelerate your fitness progress, which means better results in less sessions. Get stronger quicker. Why not use the same technology that the Dodgers and the LA Clippers use? Focus PT, located on Peachland off Lyons in Newhall. Call 255-4205. Go online at focusphysicaltherapyscv.com.
With locations throughout the valley, Providence offers the most advanced technology and therapies for treating cancer in Southern California. Call 1-888-HEALING for your annual checkup or second opinion. The road to healing leads to Providence.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And our next guest is calling in, and it's Robert Reyes from Reyes Winery on Maine. Hello. Hello. Robert? He's not on yet? Oh, okay.
We have a technical glitch. But, there we go.
Hello.
Hi there, Barbara. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are
Hey,
you doing, Robert?
How are you?
Yeah,
doing well.
You're supposed to be in here sitting at the desk with me, and you're calling in.
I am
Working hard.
in, and the reason I'm calling in is I just came back from New York, and I was exposed to possibly to people who may have been infected, and I decided to quarantine until I get a COVID test back. You know?
Very good idea. Very wise decision. So did you have fun in New York, though?
Yes. Spent time with my mother, and her 100th birthday celebration took place.
Congratulations.
Partially virtually because there were people from all over the country, right?
Wow.
Nieces and nephews and such. And yeah, it was great to be there and to spend that time. And yeah, it was fun.
100 years old.
To her.
Oh, that
great.
is wonderful. That
Yes,
is
and-
wonderful. And is she still in good health? And
She is in good health. I just spoke with her today. She's in Virginia today visiting with one of my nieces, her granddaughters.
good for
And,
her.
Wow.
Yeah, they're doing well.
That's fantastic. 100 years. Oh, my
Yep.
goodness. Oh,
Yes.
my goodness. Well, I'm going to get there, I'll tell you. Hopefully
There
you
you
two
go.
hopefully you two will
I-
be around when I'm there.
I want to be there, and I expect to be there myself.
Well, we'll have my 100th up on your rooftop. How's that?
There you go.
It'll be fun.
That's right.
Yeah, thank goodness you do have an elevator so I'd be able to get up there.
You
Oh,
bet,
you'll be
you
able to
bet.
get out there without an elevator when you're 100, Barb. No doubt.
Well, I would hope
you'll
so.
beat us up the step.
But you never know, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
That
Yeah.
is wonderful. 100 years old. Bless her heart. And she's still going strong.
She's
Does she
still
drink
going
wine?
strong.
Woohoo!
Drink wine?
You know, not much.
Oh, there you go. Does she drink Gatorade?
She is a devout Christian, and she doesn't touch the stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
But I do.
Yeah. I wonder why. You're
I'm
your
not a
company's best taste tester, aren't you? Wine tasting. It's fun.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
fun.
That's right. So,
Did the recent rains have an effect on the winery at all, or did it do it good?
It does. It does good. We've been in a drought for years now, and this helped us to get out of that drought. And I'm hoping for a little bit more rain in the next month or so to kind of make sure that we have that moisture in the soil that we need.
Oh, I hope we do.
Yeah, but every drop of rain helps.
Yes, it does. And I'm so looking forward to having some so that we can have some green mountains.
That's right.
I'm so sick and tired of looking at these horrible brown mountains.
I know.
Oh.
I know. They are turning, though. They are turning
Yes.
green as we speak, yeah.
Yes, if we can have maybe 4 or 5 more rains like we've had, oh my
that
goodness,
would be
that will
wonderful.
save us.
That would be wonderful.
Yes.
That would be wonderful.
Yes, it
So
would.
today we're going to talk about a couple of things, if I can let you know a little bit in advance here. We're going to do a Valentine's dinner, and we're going to be announcing that. I think it's already up on our website for reservations. We're thinking about opening for lunch on Saturdays and Sundays. We'll probably do a brunch on Sundays, okay? And we continue to do, we continue to do events, and we're booking, smaller events, anywhere from 15 to 40 people for different things. And so we just want to mention that so people who may be thinking about doing a small event can think about us.
Yes. Rayer's Winery on Maine. Yes.
There you go.
And it's a beautiful place. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, my next birthday party is going to be up there.
That's right.
Yeah, we've already talked about it, Robert.
That's right. That's
And
right.
how's that lovely wife of yours?
Oh, she's doing well. She just left the house to run a couple of errands, but she's doing well. She's doing
That's
well.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. And she was back there with you then?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And was she exposed also?
Yes, we both were, but we're both fine.
Terrific.
So
Terrific.
she went and tested yesterday, waiting for results, and I went and tested myself and waiting for results.
Well, they will be negative for COVID.
I'm sure they are.
Yes,
I'm sure they are.
absolutely and positively.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So
You know, and
your Valentine's dinner, that's going to be on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And
Let's.
are you going to be planning it for upstairs and downstairs?
Yes, possibly both. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's
Weather permitting. Yes.
oh, the weather better be permitted.
Yeah.
It better let us do it to it.
Yeah. So Valentine's is a Monday. Interestingly, okay.
and usually you're closed on Monday.
Yeah. No, but we will be open for that.
Ah, good. Special occasion.
That's right.
That is a very special occasion, Valentine's Day. That's
You
when
know, and I want.
everybody needs to love everybody that day.
That's right. That's right.
If you, if our listeners can go to your website, you have some, beautiful photos of the new hall you're building on Main Street, and also your upstairs, the rooftop eating facility, plus your menu as well. I think people should turn to that if they want more information, because it's very well done, Robert. And it actually, as I sit here, just afternoon, but yet not 1 o'clock. I'm hungry because of looking at your website. I mean, the food looks delicious, and I can't attest to it like Barb can, but it just looks great.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
What is it? That couture? No, couture? What is it, Robert?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
Yes.
Where did they come up with that word?
It's a French word.
Oh my goodness. Charcuterie. That dish full of food is incredible. Oh my goodness. If you ever go over there, try that, Gene. That charcuterie. There you go. I did it right.
All right.
Okay, so what else is going to be happening, Robert?
Well, like I said, we're going to start out Saturdays and Sundays with a lunch, and we're going to try a Sunday brunch, and hopefully that will go over big. And I'm sure that as the weather gets better, and we can do more and more on the rooftop, that should help us along.
Oh, yes, that rooftop is fantastic. And the nice thing about it also, when you want to eat dinner in the evening, you have those incredible heating units up there.
Yes.
Because it does get chilly in the evening up on the top of the roof. And they are so nice and warm and snuggly when you're underneath them. They really are.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference, and really it really makes it so much more comfortable up there on the top.
Yes.
And you get to see all around. It's beautiful.
Right.
Because if you remember when I was up there right before Christmas, the whole of Main Street the lights were beautiful. And being on that rooftop and looking over the edge, it was a beautiful scene, a beautiful picture.
Yes.
It really was.
Sure was. It was fun to see. For sure.
Your winery, though, in Agua Dolce, you have wine tasting there as well. And don't you have a wine club?
Yes, we do. We have a wine club, and we ship or do a pickup party here every 3 months. We bill every 3 months, and so people come in, have lunch with us, and pick up their wines. And sure, it's a fun event every 3 months.
And for those who have not ever been to Agua Dolce, they are just missing the whole western terrain, a beautiful area of California. And you've made it into a winery, which in itself greens everything up like Barb wants on the mountainsides too. But
Yes.
this is a whole new perspective of settling the land, but yet making it accommodate us to grow wines and have wine tasting and have a club there and have a wine store.
Yes.
And so to me, all of this is it's beautiful out there too. It's nice to be in the city and on Main Street. It's great, and obviously, like I said, your website is making me hungry. But the winery, the Reyes Winery Original in Agua Dolce, is in a beautiful area, and people should just go out there for that alone.
That's right, and the views are so beautiful. We have clear views of the mountains, and it's just beautiful here. And sunsets are wonderful as well. Yeah, it's fun to be here on weekends and just take in the views of the vineyard and the mountains and have a glass of wine and just relax and enjoy that. So yeah, we have a lot of fun up here.
Well, now,
not far from Vasquez Rocks either.
That is correct.
That's right.
Vasquez Rocks is directly south of us, about on a straight line is really about a mile, but of course you're taking the roads and so on, it's about a mile and a half or so. Yeah. And that is a lot of people go visit Vasquez Rocks, and then they come and hang out for the rest of the afternoon and relax and take in the views.
And have a nice glass of wine and a nice meal.
That is correct.
Yes,
that
yes,
is correct.
yes.
Yes.
Now, do you have the same type of food in Agua Dulce Winery as you do here on Maine?
No, we do not, because we're not considered a restaurant here. But what we do have is cheese plates, which we are permitted to serve here. Otherwise, we would be catering food from the restaurant here whenever we have an event. So we will be catering that as well. That we can do.
Smart.
And we've done that a couple of times already since we've been open on Main Street, where we've had parties that wanted to have the food catered, and we've sent a couple of chefs up with the food already ready to serve, and they've done that, and it's fun too. So we can do that up here as well.
No, so do you cook the food there at the winery?
No, not at all. No. We would be bringing food in from Main Street, and it can be catered to here. So the food would be prepared there to order, and then it could be brought here.
I see. Okay.
Right. So yeah,
Robert,
food. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just so our listeners understand who are not familiar with our area here in the Santa Clarita Valley in Agua Dolce, I mean, how long does it take anyone? I know because I do it all the time. How long does it take to drive to Agua Dolce? We're not talking about 3 hours. We're not really talking about half,
let's say
a full hour. Or it's pretty quick.
From Civic Center, say from City of Santa Clarita,
City Hall,
Soledad, on Valencia Boulevard there, it's about 25 minutes at the most.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful drive too. I mean,
it is.
The terrain and everything. If you can literally stop and smell the roses or the grapes,
yes,
it's really, we live in an area that matches no other place in the world, where tourists come to visit, and most of us who just move here say, let's move to Santa Clarita. They don't know about Agua Dolce, Sweetwater. They don't know that what it has to offer. And now you've been able to take it and move it into a different arena, growing grapes and producing wine that has flourished throughout the state of California.
Right. Yes. And, to talk about the vineyard a little bit, we are presently in the middle of pruning our vines, which is a process that we do every winter. And so we prune the vines, we cut all the extra stems that grow in the growing season, right? And we cut that down to very small stems, if you will, where the new growth will come in the springtime, which is a beautiful time of year when you see the bud break and the vines turning green, and you can see the tiny little grapes growing on those stems. It's a beautiful thing to see. So every part of the year is beautiful in the vineyard.
And they really come to life in the spring then, don't they?
They sure do. They sure
Wow.
do. Approximately in March, beginning of March, middle of March, is when we get bud break and things start opening up for spring.
Wow, that's wonderful. You know, we need to take a short break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes to talk with Robert. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS.
Your business sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
If you're in need of physical therapy, check out Focus Physical Therapy. Owner and therapist Adam Laraway has the latest in cutting-edge technology, introducing the Newbie, the ultimate in neuromuscular re-education. The Newbie can help you heal up to 70% faster and was FDA cleared in September 2017. The Newbie uses pulse direct current, which mimics the same neurological signals the brain uses and allows the therapist to identify those signals with 100% accuracy. Newbie can even help improve your sleep while tackling issues with neck, knee, and shoulder pain, sciatica, and arthritis. It can accelerate your fitness progress, which means better results in less sessions. Get stronger quicker. Why not use the same technology that the Dodgers and the LA Clippers use? Focus PT, located on Peachland off Lyons in Newhall. Call 255-4205. Go online at focusphysicaltherapyscv.com.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
No words can describe the power of belonging to a group of close friends or being part of a family. Insight Treatment Center was founded more than 20 years ago to give teenagers a community of friends and family as they overcome issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. The new Santa Clarita location is a COVID-secure environment where distance and good airflow are a priority. As a leader in providing intensive outpatient treatment to teenagers, Insight Treatment Center in Santa Clarita is here to help. Call 888-295-9995 or go online to insighttreatment.com.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And we're speaking with the one and only Robert Reyes, the owner of Reyes Winery in Agua, Dolce, and Reyes Winery on Maine. Yes. Now, I want to ask you, Robert, what does it take to pick all those grapes? Who does that?
A lot of hands.
A lot of
harvest,
hands.
Yes. For harvest, we bring in anywhere from 8 to 12 people, and we harvest 4 rows of vines at a time.
Wow.
And so, yes, and it's a manual process, and that's just what it takes. It's part of how we do things. And I know the larger wineries and vineyards, they pick some of their product by machine. But we're such a small operation that we do not have the luxury of doing that. So it's all a very manual process. And we pretty much have the same people that come every year, and they've been coming for years. And I appreciate them because I know it's tough, especially because it's at harvest time. It's usually very hot, and so we would start as early in the morning as we can see daylight, and by 1 o'clock or so, everybody's just about burnt out with the heat. So, but it's a rewarding job. It's great to see the new grapes come in and to start processing them right away. So, yeah.
So
that's what it takes. It's a lot of hard work.
So what happens after you pick the grapes? What's the next process?
Sure. We bring them into the winery, and we process. What we do is we destem, crush and destem the grapes. And so we have a machine. We put the grapes in, and then the stems go out. You know, they get they get thrown out of the machine, and then the liquid and the pulp of the grapes, the must, goes into tanks for fermentation. And the fermentation process could take 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the weather and temperatures in the barrel room and so on. And so that is the process. It takes about 3 weeks, and then the juice, which is now in 3 weeks, it's now wine, goes into tanks, and those tanks are called settling tanks, and then we move from those tanks into barrels, and where the wine stays for at least 18 months, sometimes a couple of years, sometimes 30 months.
Wow.
Yes.
So when do you add the alcohol?
The alcohol is produced from the moment the fermentation starts. It's a conversion from sugar to alcohol. For fermentation.
Yep. Oh, how interesting.
And depending on how sweet the grapes are, you know, we try to pick our grapes at about 26% sugar, which will produce anywhere from 13 to 14% alcohol.
Wow.
So, but it's a natural process, and it needs to be a very clean process.
How interesting.
Right, but there is a lot of science to it, Robert. It is.
Oh,
it is
yes,
not
we
easy.
have to.
It is not easy, and you know, in the environment and picking the grapes by hand.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's just one of these things that processes that in order to have good wine, and we've kind of in California taken over France in terms of wine production and yielding great wines throughout the world compared to them throughout the world. So you guys are doing, Robert, a tremendous job in what you do. And, you know, I tell you, our community does appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right.
And
Thank you.
I advise people to go on your website, get hungry by looking at the food you provide. It's just, you know, a wonderful place to go to Agua Dolce for wine tasting, or come and eat a great meal on Main Street. Robert,
what is the address, Robert, and the telephone number?
The address at the winery here in Agua Dolce is 10262 Sierra Highway, and we are just past Agua Dolce Canyon Road and Sierra Highway. We're just one block north of there. So that's where the winery is. And, of course, our place on Main Street is 24329 Main Street. And you can go on our website, look at our menus, at our events. If you have an event, there's an event request form there. And you can call us there at 661-621-7777, and someone will answer all your questions.
Wow.
Robert Reyes, thank you for being on the show again today. Happy birthday, 100th birthday to your mom.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's wonderful. It's great to talk to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon, Robert.
Take care. Bye-bye.
We are sponsored by Comfort Keepers In-Home Care, Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, Hestia Medical Spa. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.